Hi, everyone. This is a different thing for me. Normally, I'm on a stage and getting to walk back and forth. I also don't normally talk before 2 hours from now, and so this is a little early for me. So bear with me. Something that Rev C mentioned in the intro was soul's intention, and that is a phrase I coined a couple of years ago that started to develop for me when I was in a cabin in the woods about 16 years ago. I was getting can you guys hear me all right? Good. I was getting my third divorce and had no job, no money. So an ad in the paper for free rent in exchange for fixing up the cabin, and was sitting in that cabin wondering how at 50 my life had gone so south, given I'd been in these teaching and done all this stuff. And, a lot of affirmations. And yet I had, as I mentioned, no money, no prospects, just sitting in that cabin in the woods going, what happened? Because I'm actually a pretty bright guy. And so I couldn't understand, given all the work I had done in affirmations, how my life had gone south. And I and I had now had the time to really take a look at that. I was in that cabin for almost 3 years. And in that time, discovered some things about myself and about these teachings that was on a deeper level than I had anticipated. One of the things that I was struggling with was the idea that people say that intuition is sometimes wrong. And I'm here to tell you today that it's never wrong. That what's wrong is how we interpret what it is that's going on and how we think about intuition. So, for instance, there's a word in our society that's called counterintuitive. And I'm here to say nothing is counterintuitive, but many things are counterinstinctual. And so what happens is we confuse instinct with intuition. And in doing so, lead ourselves down a road of thinking that intuition is sometimes wrong, where our instinct is definitely sometimes wrong. And I'm going to give you some examples of this. The first one is about turning in the direction of a skid. If you've ever hit black ice, you guys live in Canada, right? If you've ever hit black ice or in a car, the instinct is to turn away from the skid. Not intuition. It's actually intuition that came up with the idea that actually turned into it. And yet the term is coined counterintuitive, but it's counterinstinctual. When we talk about a gut reaction, we are talking about instinct. We are not talking about that higher self, that full being knowing that constantly is guiding us forward. The next thing about, so are we clear about that? I mean, you don't have to agree with me. I just want to make sure you understand what it is I'm saying. The next piece about this is that full being knowing, that sense of self that guides us forward. Our intuition is not psychic. It's not here to tell us that what is going to happen next. Our intuition, what I am coining soul's intention, is constantly guiding you to being your best self. It's not guiding you towards riches, though that may come. It's not guiding you towards your best job, though that will come. It's not guiding you towards this perfect and wonderful life. Our soul's intention, step by step, guides us towards being who we have come here to be. And what I have learned is as long as I am in touch with who I have come here to be, as long as I am in touch with that next step that is mine to take through my soul's intention, life takes care of itself in ways that are miraculous, absolutely miraculous. We underestimate the power of miracle in most of our lives. Most of us think that we have to be logical. We have to follow what makes sense. And yet there is a power inside of us that is so much larger than what makes sense. It is really extraordinary as a working practice. It has been for me as a working practice to follow that which is highest and best, and to know the difference between a gut instinct and a full being knowing that carries me forward to whatever it is that is mine to do next. I came out of that cabin, and one of the things that happened is I began to develop this idea of our intuition is never wrong, that there is a large difference between instinct and intuition, and that this intuition piece, this soul's intention piece, is guiding us towards being our best. It got me to a place of where I started asking the question of who am I being now, rather than what is going on. You know, I tend to at any moment not focus on what's going on out here. Instead, who am I being in here? And from that place of being, allow what to happen out here come from that higher space. And a lot of times, it just takes a lot of the time, it just takes care of itself in ways that I could have never logically figured out or moved forward with. I mean, Dr. Ernest Holmes has this great line that in Science of Mind, our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, and I'll be quoting him because, you know, that's the books I've read and that's what I've studied and that's what I know. Transformation, actually, it was Aurobindo, his buddy, who said this. Transformation does not rectify, it transmutes. And our tendency is to want to rectify, to fix, to change. Something we think is not right out here, needs fixing, needs changing, and we get in there and do that. And every time we do, we miss the opportunity for transformation. We miss the opportunity for ourselves to actually transform. Every time I think that what's going on out here is more important than what's going on in here. I had this just yesterday. I'm in the living room, my wife's in the kitchen, and I hear her shout, "Oh no!" And then a couple of minutes later, she goes, "Oh, good." And I thought, that's what every human has ever done throughout history of humankind, right? This is what we do all day, every day. We're going, "Oh no," or we're going, "Oh, good." And then we go, "Oh no," and then we go, "Oh, good." I mean, think about the game last night. How many times were you like, "Oh no," and then you were like, "Oh, good," and then you're like, "Oh no," and then there maybe were a couple of "oh no's" in a row. But every time it's got a hit, "Oh, good." This is what we do. This is the craziness of humanity, all day, every day, moving forward. And when I heard her say that in the kitchen, I was like, "Oh my God, what that is the way of the history of humanity in less than 60 seconds." Oh no! Oh, good. And when we see that that's the cycle that we're stuck in, that we continually play out like all the time, we can start to see that we can actually not do that. We can actually be in a better place around that. You know, there's this great Zen story, and maybe you've heard it, about a farmer. And the farmer has this horse, and the horse escapes. And his neighbor comes over and goes, "Oh, that's terrible. Your horse escaped." And the farmer goes, "Ah, we'll see." And then the horse winds up coming back with a mare and two colts. And the neighbor comes over and goes, "Oh, that's incredible. That's fantastic." And the farmer goes, "We'll see." And then the son of the farmer tries to break one of the horses, falls off and breaks his leg instead. And the neighbor comes over and goes, "Oh, that's terrible. That's just terrible. I'm so sorry." And the farmer goes, "We'll see." And then the army comes to transcript every kid his son's age, but doesn't take this kid because his leg's broken. And of course, the neighbor comes over once again and goes, "Oh, that's incredible." And he goes, "We'll see." We don't actually know when something happens that we think is bad as to how great or bad that might be. My time in that cabin in the woods, I went in there devastated. And I look back on that as the greatest changing point in my life. That nothing that ever occurred in my life would have impacted me the same in terms of the trajectory that my life has taken since then. Meeting my current wife, the different ministries I've had, even getting into the idea that, it wasn't as if I had this, bolt of lightning and called a ministry and thought, okay, this is what I was meant to do with my life. That never happened to me. What did was step by step, finding my way through my soul's intention until all of a sudden I found myself in a position that I love. Life unfolded without me even just taking the steps of who I was being, led me to the perfect and right position and work for me. Without me planning or thinking about it or saying, this is what, I'm called to do, that never happened for me. I just moved in it step by step by step. And in doing so, got to a place about when I met my wife, one of the first things we did, we have this thing in a science of mind called spiritual mind treatment. It's affirmational prayer, basically. But most people in affirmational prayer pray for form. They pray for a specific thing, health, new job, well-being, relationship. And Ash and I realized that is so limiting. And so we just started praying for a full, flourishing life and really allowed, however that would look, in being so curious as to whatever showed up, however we were led in that. And that's what God has been guiding our lives for the past 12 years. Full, flourishing life, moving step by step. And even when things looked like they weren't working out, like when I was the senior minister in the Center for Spiritual Living in Burbank, California, I was there about 3.5 years. And the center wasn't growing. We really weren't getting anywhere. And then just as we started at about 25, 30 people. Just before COVID, we were beginning to finally grow after 3.5 years. We got to about 60 people on a Sunday. COVID hit, closed the doors because it was ordered that we had to close our doors. And on that same day that the order came through, we had to close our doors, our landlord doubled our rent. Now, even at the time, because Ash and I had been doing this so long, we didn't get like, oh man, this is horrible. Oh no, we didn't get into that oh no space. We got into a space of let's see. We don't know how this is going to turn out. Let's see what happens next. And what happened next was I found out that a dear friend of mine, Sharon, would you mind muting your screen?
I'd love to. What button do I press?
The one that says audio. There you go. Thank you. Okay. I had just learned that a dear friend of mine in Asheville, North Carolina, had had a stroke and was the minister of the Center for Spiritual. It was one of the ministers of the Center for Spiritual Living in Asheville. So when our center in Burbank closed, I thought it was the perfect time to go support my friend in Asheville. So instead of taking what happened in Burbank as a devastation, we took it as, oh, this is our next step. And so we went to Asheville, and where I supported the two ministers there, John and Barbara Waterhouse, in what they needed for Barbara's transition. And from there, found Edmonton. I mean, the road to your good may never be a direct route. It is a long and winding road. But as long as you stay with who you are being, as long as you stay with that inner voice that is your whole body, yes, that part of you that knows absolutely what your next step is, even if it's not telling you what the full picture is going to look like. Because every step I have taken without knowing what the full picture was going to look like. I had no idea. Ash and I had no idea we were going to wind up in Canada, right? Here we are in this Asheville, North Carolina, and now we are in a very north place in Canada. My son's still in Asheville, so I get weather reports on the difference, which it can be dramatic. But we are loving it here. This was the perfect community for us. It was the perfect place to be. We have seen, when I got here, we had 40 on a Sunday. We now have 140 on a Sunday. I mean, the growth has been extraordinary. And because this was the place for us. This was where we could find our place. There's this great story about this kid who his dad goes to her and says, as a graduation present, I'm giving you this broken down car. And I want you to go to the local used car place and see how much money they'll give you for it. So she goes to the used car place and they offer her $1,000 for it. She comes home, tells her dad, she says, okay, now go to the dealership and see how much they'll give you for it. She goes to the dealership and they offer her $2,500 for it. He says, okay, that's great. Now go to this antique car show and see how much they'll give you for it. And she goes there and comes back all excited that they offered her $75,000 for the same car. And he says to her, this is the lesson in this. Don't be where they don't value you. Find out where they do, because you are worth valuing. So don't hang out where you're not valued. Go find out where you are. And when we are in touch with our soul's intention, when we are in touch with that deeper place, it actually guides us to where we are valued. The more we value ourselves, the more we are valued in the world. There is something so deep within you that is beyond reason. In fact, your reason can get in the way because there's lots of things, steps that my wife and I have taken that didn't make any sense at all. But by trusting in this deeper voice, have led us to a life beyond our imagination. We are living an extraordinary life because we trusted on that deeper level. Because we weren't caught up in the, oh no, oh good, that goes on and on for all of us every day. It's okay that we have those reactions because we're going to feel what we feel, but we don't have to act on them. There's a deeper place in us that knows that we're okay. We're okay no matter what happens. We have that guidance inside. I call it soul's intention. You can call it anything. You could call it higher self. You could call it intuition. It doesn't really matter what you call it. It's in you. It's a part of you. And it's different for all of us. No two of us is going to be led down the same road. We all have our unique journey to have. And when we are open to the fact that this isn't good or bad, this is just the next step, we get to experience a life that is beyond our belief and beyond our imagination. Thank you. I love you. Thanks for letting me share. I think I was told I got to end with a prayer. Is that right? Little meditation.
A meditation would be wonderful. Thank you.
Okay.
Just a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, that'll be short. Full flourishing, not forcing. Flourishing. All right, well, take a deep breath, sit back, relax, and if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And imagine yourself on a path. It is the perfect path. It is your path. How it feels beneath your feet, the air, the sounds, the beauty, perfect for you. And it leads you to your sanctuary, your perfect sanctuary. The temperature, the sights, the sounds, how it feels beneath your feet. The smells are absolutely perfect. In the center of your sanctuary is a chair. It is the perfect chair. It is your chair. So perfect that when you sit in it, you feel the Take another deep breath and relax even more. And from this safe space, imagine your higher self is right there with you. Your soul's intention, benevolent, loving, all-knowing, is right there with you. You can feel its presence. And you feel safe in its knowing because it's looking out for you, for your highest and best, for you becoming all you came here to be. Feel yourself meld with this higher self that is you. Feel it in your heart. Feel it in every cell of your body. This absolute knowing that life is for your good and that every step can be guided by this benevolent part of you that knows everything. Take another deep breath as you open to this part of yourself even more. And in this place of knowing, ask your higher self, what is my next step? and allow the answer to permeate your being. Thank yourself for being open to this higher self that is looking out for you. Thank yourself for being open-hearted and allowing you to hear and be with that greater part of you that knows. And when you're ready, come on back into the room. That part is always with you. That is you in your larger self, ever present, ever knowing. Thank you. Thank you for listening, being with me in this.